I understand how the fitness industry works. I understand people want you to buy this magic product, and they know deep down they may not even need all that. Mm-hmm. So for me personally, I want to just be honest with you and let you know your options and let you know it's okay. You can just go out for a walk. It's okay. If you want to just do some push-ups, do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, do some planks, do it right in your home. That's fine. Because I don't want to look back over my life and think, okay, I scammed these people out of their money when they really didn't need all this stuff.
Welcome to today's show, everyone. I am your host, Maria Bethel, and it's a great day for a podcast. I'm just hanging here today with my co-host, Rob Bartenstein, CEO and Managing Director of Kestra Private Wealth Services. How's it going, Rob?
It's going really well, Maria. How are you?
Good. Thank you. I'm excited for today's show.
It's a good day for a podcast. You're exactly right.
That's right. Absolutely. So everybody, we are bringing to the show today an incredibly authentic and brilliant guest that we're excited to share with you. So I'm going to just take a minute and introduce him to everyone. He is a former financial advisor, turned trainer, author, wellness coach, and speaker. And since he's clearly trying to show me up today, he's also completed 15 triathlons and 10 half Ironman races. Please welcome to the show, everyone, Mr. Jeff White.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Cheers.
I think Maria, look, she covered the most important thing, which is all the triathlons under your belt, but you did leave out one important descriptive adjective here.
What's
best-selling author.
Did I not say 8 bestsellers?
Yeah. We got a bestseller on our podcast today.
No one who's counting.
It's only 8, Rob. I was going to wait till we got to 9 or 10 before we mentioned it.
15 triathlons. How many triathlons? 50? And only 8 bestsellers.
I'm a numbers guy. What can I say?
That's right. Got a ways to go yet.
I'm still trying to catch up with author of one book. So
yeah, exactly.
It is what it is. So we're just going to jump right into the show. And Jeff, you've had a pretty significant career shift from your days as a financial advisor to ruling over the fitness world. And when I spoke with you about this change, you said that you really wanted to help others learn how to become their best mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. So why don't you dive a little bit further into that? Explain what you mean and your mission to the audience.
Well, I've always been a teacher of some sort, believe it or not. My mother was a school teacher. And I can vividly remember I had to be like 11 or 12 years old, and I would grade her spelling papers because she taught 4th grade. So I had to grade her papers. And I was not happy because I wanted to go outside and play. But I was helping her with her work. So she would always tell me I'd be a great teacher. But I said, I can't teach someone who doesn't want to be taught. And so that was always in the back of my mind. So, I eventually became a financial advisor. And I had a book of business, and what I focused on was clients who weren't really market savvy. So I had to introduce them to the markets. I had to explain what stocks were and, bonds and, dollar cost averaging and drip programs and college 529s. So I always had a passion of helping people. I always had a passion for, teaching new things and, opening people's minds to different things. Because I like to learn. I'm always trying to learn something because I think that's how you become a better person. So I just pass it on to other people. So when I learn something, I want to share with other people too. I don't like to, hoard information per se. So I stayed in the business for several years, and I had my book of business. But I eventually got burned out from the industry. As you guys know, it's not an easy industry. It's really tough. So I gave up my book of business and I went to the back office, and I stayed in the back office for, maybe 10 years, but I was not happy with the direction of my life. It's just me, and we all have our personal, likes and dislikes and where we want to go in life. My goal was to be a financial advisor. So it didn't work out for me. So I was like, okay, what else can I do? I want to, do something that I really enjoy. So then I was like, you know what? I've been doing triathlons. I work out. I enjoy it. And people, ask me questions all the time. So how about I become a personal trainer? and I became a personal trainer, and I loved it. I was a mobile trainer. I would literally go to people's houses and train them in their houses. I had my equipment and everything. So going back to being a financial advisor, I like to explain things to my clients. So I just carried that over to my personal trainer clients. And I did the same thing. I explained what the exercises were, how that helped them, the benefits for them. So that way they can understand what they're doing. Say, oh, this is why I'm doing this. And so it gives them a little more incentive to do it, because if they know it helps them, then they will continue to do it with a little more excitement per se. A lot of people don't like to work out. So I would just kind of explain how it worked out for them so it gives them a little more incentive. So I decided to learn as much as I could about, personal training and fitness. So I became a wellness coach. Now, when I did that, that's when everything came full circle for me. Because when you're a wellness coach, it's not just about exercise, the physical, the muscle, and, losing weight. It's about this part too. It's about wellness. You're stressed. Why are you stressed? What's causing your stress? Let's get to the root problem there. And once we get to the root cause of your issues, then we can, get you better. And so that just really brought everything full circle. It's like, you know what? Now I can tie everything in together. I can tie in the physical, the mental aspect, the physical, the mental, the spiritual, and the financial aspect, because I had the background as a financial advisor. So that was huge for me, because then I could just really just look at all of it. Because as you know, some people are stressed because of money issues, but it comes out in different aspects of their lives because they may be overeating, they may be abusing their bodies, but they don't realize the root cause. And a lot of times it may be some type of money issue. So then it's like, okay, you know what? Well, I had this background in finance. I'm not licensed anymore, but I can talk about some things that educate you on some things that may be able to help you. Also, I realized that a lot of times as people, what we do is we compartmentalize things. We don't look at the big picture. We look at, my health over here, or my fitness, or my job is over here, or, something else is on the other side over here, but we don't never look at them together as one unit. Because if one aspect of your life is lacking, others are going to be affected too, but you may not even realize it. So it was important for me to just bring that all out into the forefront so people can see, okay, I may be stressed and this is affecting my weight. Or, I may not have self-confidence in myself, and that's affecting my performance on the job, which is affecting my ability to make more money. So if you look at it from the bigger perspective, then that way you can strive to be the best you can be, because you're looking at all aspects of your life at the same time.
Yeah, what you're really saying is it's sometimes you need someone else to hold a mirror up to you, to yourself, so that you can almost cooperate in the diagnosis of the issue, right? It's always easier for me to tell you everything that's wrong with you than it is for me to tell me what's wrong with me, because sometimes we just can't see it. So it's interesting to me that you've got a multifaceted background that's given you the ability to really be an effective mirror for people and be able to dive into all, maybe not all, but say the majority of the aspects of their life and tie it together in a way that makes sense. So like to your point, if my problem is that I'm kind of overeating or stress eating or whatever that might be, I may just think I have a problem with eating. It may not occur to me that it's a symptom of a deeper issue or something completely in another part of my life. But you've got that perspective to be able to see that and highlight that to your clients. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, it was very important. And that's how my background really helped me, because working in the finance industry as a stockbroker, we worked 8 a.m. to 8 p.m, cold calling. And this is before the internet became big. So we literally had to get phone books.
Yeah, here's the phone book, kid. Lots of good leads in there.
Yeah, that's it. 8 to 8.
I've been
8 in the
there.
morning, 8 at night. And that's what we had to do. So you can imagine how stressful that is. So you're sitting there for hours and hours and hours on end. You're not making much money, and you're thinking, I don't know how I'm going to make it through. So that can be very stressful. Mm-hmm. And when people are stressed, it comes out in many different ways that they may not even understand or realize at the time. Mm-hmm. So for me, with that background, I can say, well, you know what? I know how you feel because I've been there, and that can help me kind of relate to them and show them things they may not even think about, because this is not something that's normally discussed talked about. All we do normally as a society is focus on the symptom. We want to treat the symptom. You have a headache? Here, take a pill.
Right.
Your back hurts, take some medicine, pain relievers or something.
Just drown it out. Yeah.
Right. But you don't get to the source. Once you get to the source of your issue, then that's when the real healing begins. And that's when you can become the best person you can be. But a lot of times we don't even know that the issue is even there. So that's why I do what I do.
There are people that needed your help 20, 30 years ago. They were rookies at Merrill Lynch in Washington, D.C., and they had to come to work on Saturday, and they had to put their shoes in the manager's office. They had to work all day with no shoes because he knew you couldn't leave without your shoes. Exactly. He literally kept your shoe in his office. You had to go get your shoes at the end of the day so you could leave. I mean, that was stress. Those people needed your help. Where were you? Where were you then?
I was working 8 to 12.
That's right.
I was with them.
People from the phone book,
the same thing. I got off these. I got off at 12.
And he got to leave with his shoes. How amazing.
It's crazy, right? But he did that. I mean, and he built an empire too. I mean, he built a lot of successful advisors, but it's a different world now. But in the old days, you could make people do what it took to be successful. The business has changed a lot now, and people achieve success in very different ways. But when Jeff and I were coming up, it literally was like, hey, here's the phone book and get after it and good luck to you. But it took a lot of work and a lot of long hours. So anyway, that's a story, an old salt story, old sea story from long ago.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Maria, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, I was going to say that it was very stressful. And for me, I had an athletic background. I ran track in high school. I was a lifeguard in college. So that was my stress reliever. And it's important to know what your stress reliever is, first off, but it should be a healthy stress reliever too. A lot of people, they do things they shouldn't do, but it makes them feel good. But at the end of the day, it hurts them long term, but they may not realize it. I'm like everyone else. I like to eat my cake. I like to eat my ice cream. I like to eat dessert because it tastes good and it feels good. But I know I can't do that all the time. I know if I'm tired because I've been working 8, 9, 10 hours straight, that taking that energy drink is not the best thing for me long term. So you have to know these things. But, when you're getting pushed and you're just trying to make it and go and go and go, you're going to do things to your body that may not be the best. You don't see it right now because our bodies are really strong and resilient. But 5, 10, 15 years down the road, that's when you really feel it and it hits you like that. And you're like, what happened? But you don't realize it's been those years of accumulation of doing things that hurt you, maybe to relieve stress or to escape, that are now coming back to hurt you with a vengeance.
Maria, I don't want to ruin your afternoon, but it's early afternoon on a Friday. That's good advice for me and you in a few hours. We need to remember what he just said.
I was going to go get a coffee after this. I'm guilty, caffeine.
Oh, I thought maybe you were going to happy hour later.
Obviously it's Friday, but I was going to get a coffee first.
That's what I'm talking about.
I am from Florida,
We're going to do the energy drink, then happy hour.
Energy drink at the happy hour.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a balance. I'll eat
balanced
vegetables for lunch and dinner too. So this is actually a really great segue into our next topic, which is actually taken from Jeff's book, which is The Diet of Success: Healthy Eating Tips for Hardworking Professionals. And I guess I should have said one of Jeff's many books. But in this book, there is a quote that you included from Dalai Lama, which is very important and I think crucial to share in the conversation today. So I'm going to go ahead and read the quote from your book. And it says, the Dalai Lama, when asked what surprised him most about humanity, he answered, man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money. Then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. And then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present or future. He lives as if he is never going to die and then dies having never really lived.
Wow.
When I read that quote, it gave me chills because I lived that. And a lot of us do, but we don't even realize it because we're stuck in the rat race. Yeah. And sometimes you have to just take a step back and just enjoy life. Enjoy life. One of the things I learned, because I'm getting older and I'm very observant. And I watch people, who are, a lot older, and I see some of them are really old and bitter. And so it dawned on me, a lot of times they're looking back on their lives and they have regret because they were so busy trying to do this and do that and get things done. They didn't enjoy themselves. And so they look back and like, wow, I wish I could have done something a little different. And so that's what I try to tell people. You have to enjoy life at the same time. Yes, work hard, because I work very hard too. But at the same time, you have to learn how to be able to enjoy it. But at the same time, not to make too many sacrifices that can either hurt you physically, mentally, spiritually, or financially, or hurt others, or, just work so much that you just don't enjoy yourself. Life is too short. Tomorrow's not promised to any of us, so we have to learn how to enjoy it while getting our work done at the same time.
Yeah, that's so true. Life is mercilessly short. But what you're really talking about is interesting in the sense that you're kind of saying, look, you need to build your armor for your life, because life is hard. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. It may look like people have easy lives, and it may look like other people have much harder lives, but everybody in some degree or another has a hard life. But what you're talking about is like building your armor from the inside out, which I think is a fascinating concept. You're combining, I think, all of the most important elements, which is, you want to be healthy, you want to be vital and healthy, you want to maintain your body, but you also want to maintain your perspective, which is your mindset. And you're kind of weaving those things together in a holistic solution that allows people to really armor themselves from the inside out, which, to your point about not living with regret and living the life that you want to experience, we're all getting older, and things stop, working as well as they used to, and recovery takes longer than it used to. But the maintenance and the diligence and the discipline, which is really the mindset to maintain all those systems in your body and in your brain, really are going to pay off in the long run, because your quality of life is going to go up. And that's a hard thing. I think that's, to your point about the rat race, that's the hardest thing for normal people. I'm talking to myself here, but for normal people to remember in the heat of the moment, because you're just trying to do what you got to do. You got 57 things on your to-do list today, and they all have to get done. How do you keep the perspective and the mentality, or the mental framework to take care of yourself and maintenance along the way? And I think that's a real big, important component of what you're offering to your clients. It's really interesting.
Yeah. What I learned is you have to learn how to pace yourself, because if you try to do too much, you can get sick. And that's the last thing we want to do. Like I said, tomorrow's not promised, but I want to live a long, healthy life. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to tell you a little funny joke. I want a private jet. I tell everyone, because I put it out into, speaking into existence. I want a private jet. What if I'm 75 and I finally get my jet? I don't want to be too sick to enjoy it. Yeah. I don't want to get on my jet with my oxygen tank like, okay, can we go here now? Oh, okay. I'm ready to go and have some fun. No, I want to be vigor and happy and ready to live and enjoy my life as long as I can. So, but it's important to work on yourself from the inside, because that's where all your healing begins. Everything comes from within. It's not the surface issues that you want to focus on. It's all the way down, literally to a cellular level. Mm-hmm. And if you can break it down to that point, with the healthy eating, and the positive attitude, because all that affects your health. Eating the wrong foods can affect your health. Stress can affect your health. Not getting enough rest and not enough sleep, that can affect your health. So you have to balance it all out. But there's one thing about all of this that is a really big underlying factor for a lot of people, and it's the money aspect of it, because we're working to pay all these bills. We have all these bills, all these this credit card, all this debt. That's where my financial background comes in, because I can understand that, because a lot of people don't understand how money works, the various ways they can make money and invest and things of that nature. So they don't understand that, and they don't think about it. So that's how I'm able to tie it all back in, because for a lot of people, if you think about it, they're working so hard because they have all these bills to pay, and that really stresses them out. But, if you can just get to the root cause and find out what you can do to alleviate some of this stress and pressure, then you can really live your life and do a whole lot better.
Yeah, our society still has that, or goes by that old maxim, keeping up with the Joneses. And so you're constantly working. I've seen a lot of people in my generation, the millennials generation. Yes, okay, I'm at the like oldest possible part of that generation, but we kind of grew up where we got to play outside and ride our bikes, and we drank out of water hoses, and we hung out with our friends till dark, and we rode our bicycles home. And then all of a sudden we have this complete societal shift based on technological advances that happened within our lifetime. And all of a sudden we go from these very active sport type lifestyles and being outdoors all the time as a way of life to, okay, here's my job as an adult now, or even an early adult. And now I have a cell phone and a work cell phone and a laptop and a computer, and I have to be able to type a certain amount, and I'm going to sit here and type all day. And all of a sudden the sedentary lifestyle starts kicking in.
Yeah. No,
right?
You're right. And if I can, I just want to dovetail on that, because that's really where I wanted to go next. I wanted to talk about the role that movement plays in our lives, or the lack of movement. And you're exactly right, Maria. I mean, you and I and Jeff, we're kind of the last of the analogs, right? And everybody that's coming behind us is the digitals now. Mm-hmm. But I get this increasing uneasiness about the absence of movement. And it's sort of an immutable law of the universe. Like you move or you die. And I think that we're losing touch with the connection there. So Jeff, I was wondering, along the lines of what Maria was talking about, what are your thoughts on that? How do you talk about that? And what do you advise people to do in that regard?
That's perfect, because this is very important too. As you all know, we have the COVID situation, and there's a lot of talk about getting vitamin D. They're saying vitamin D may be able to help you with, increasing your immune system and maybe possibly helping minimize the effects of COVID in your body, because it keeps you strong with your immune system. So a lot of people, they're taking vitamin D. Well, my thinking is, if you want to take the vitamin D, yes, if your doctor says take it, definitely take it. However, do not just take the vitamin D and think that's all you have to do. You still need to go outside and get your vitamin D that way. And this is why it all comes back to the sedentary lifestyle. For example, you're sitting all day at your desk. If you go outside, what happens? You're standing up, you're moving. That's the movement that you need. That's number one. Walking is great exercise. It helps bring your body back into alignment, because sometimes when we sit, we're slouching, we're leaning forward, it puts pressure on our neck, we're straining our eyes. So you get up, you're moving your body. That's number one. You go outside, you're getting fresh air. Fresh air is very important for our body, because a lot of people may not realize that indoor air can be up to 60 times more polluted than outdoor air. A lot of people may not realize that, but if you think about it, if you have carpet, there can be a lot of stuff in the carpet. If you look at the offices today, the windows are sealed. No windows are open. And then they may spray chemicals. You may spray stuff on your desk to clean the cleaners and things of that nature. So there's a lot of things going on in the office that you may not be aware of. So you're going outside, you're getting fresh air. You're getting away from the office, even for 5, 10, 15 minutes. That can lower your stress levels. That can lower your blood pressure. And now you're getting vitamin D. And so people think, I'm getting my vitamin D, I'm okay. There's a whole lot more to it. It's the synergistic things that people don't understand or even think about that can affect them. So going back to just getting outside and movement, it's like a car. If you have a car and you sit it in your garage for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, you try to start it, it's not going to start. It's the same thing with your body. Your body has to move. Your body needs movement. That's how you burn energy. That's how you get alert and awake.
Well, we were built to move, right? I mean, I think that's the whole point, is that we were built to move. And I know that, you've moved at extreme levels compared to the sort of the average office worker. And I definitely want to hear from you about that. But that's really it, isn't it? Is that the body is built to move, and that the systems inside of our bodies, the lymphatic systems, your circulatory system, even just your mental well-being and mental health, they're all benefiting from movement. You were talking about body alignment and things of that nature. I mean, it's like every single element of our physical being and our mental well-being benefit from movement. And I think that people overlook that all the time, myself included. And it's so underrated and so important.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yes, I do triathlons and I enjoy it. It's not many people who enjoy riding their bike for 4 hours. Not many people enjoy that, but I do.
Guilty.
However, that does not mean you have to do it too. People underestimate the benefits of just walking. All you have to do is get up and get your heartbeat moving just a little bit. There's the high intensity training, which is 20 minutes of exercise and you're okay, which is true. But if you can't do that, what if you're older and you just aren't able to do that? If you can just get up and move, you're fine. Gardening is good exercise. That's a good workout. So it doesn't have to be anything extravagant or anything hardcore. Just get up and move and eat a sensible diet and you'll be fine. But see, our society is, we got to go, go, go. It's high intensity. We got to do this. We got to do that. It doesn't always have to be that way. And see, even that can be stressful.
Mm-hmm.
Just go out and have a nice
wear yourself out mentally and physically just by always go, 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 go.
Well, just the stress of that alone, your cortisol levels go up and your stress level goes up with it. And that's terribly debilitating. That's when, at least for guys, you start putting on weight around your middle and you wonder why I'm working out. I can't get rid of this. Oh, what's going on? A lot of that's cortisol and just a kind of maybe a subpar level of movement and poor diet and a million other things. Cocktails in the evening and multiple glasses of wine, guilty. But that all that stuff plays a role, which just kind of goes back to what you were saying before.
Right. Even basic movement is so interesting. I have a funny story from just the other day that parallels directly with this. And I went to get a massage because I was having such bad neck and shoulder pain. And I was like, this is it. I have to go get a deep tissue massage, like so much pain. And I go in and she starts doing the deep tissue. She gets these hot rocks and she says, obviously you work from home at a computer. And I start laughing and I'm like, oh, you can tell. And she said, we can always tell when it's you all that work on computers all day long because you all have this same little hunch going on. And she's talking to me. I'm trying to relax a little bit. And she said, you have to get up and move. She said, get up and stretch, even if you only do it for 3 to 5 minutes, but you're going to sit there and 4 hours will go by and you'll go, oh my gosh, where did the last 4 hours go? And then you're going to regret not getting up and stretching or taking a 10-minute walk or doing something. Just move, period, she said. Yeah. And I really took that advice and I started trying to get up and at least at the minimum stretch every hour, even if it's for 60 seconds. And I noticed like my body just feels a little bit more rejuvenated. Yeah. And a little bit of the stress starts feeling like it's tapering off too. So even such a minimalistic change in movement can make a really big difference.
You just remind me of one of my questions that I had for Jeff here, which is right on the money there. So Jeff, my days of triathlon, I think, are far behind me. I've started running again seriously, which has changed my whole body composition in a pretty short period of time. But what strategies do you give to your clients about movement? Like, do you recommend regimenting? Like, you set 6 alarms over the course of the day to kind of remind you to move? Like, what kind of things can you share with our listeners that would help bring more movement into their lives that may not be there right now?
Get up every hour. At the top of every hour, just get up and walk for 5 minutes. Even if you work at home, like most of us are doing right now, just get up and walk around your house. Mm-hmm. Get up and stretch. Do 25 jumping jacks if you can. If it's not cold out, because I know a lot of people live up north and I live in Florida, so it's warm here. Not to rub it in, but I am from Chicago, so I know how cold it is. But if you can, just get outside for 5 minutes and just walk. Again, we do not have to stress ourselves out about trying to get so much exercise. You got to remember, our bodies are very resilient, and even a little bit of movement and a little bit of stretching can help. Even just trying to reach the ceiling can really just help, just rejuvenate you. It opens up your lungs and it just makes you feel a whole lot better. So I just tell people every hour, just get up every hour. This is not supposed to stress you out. Mm-hmm. We have enough stress. We don't need to add any more stress to our lives. We just need to relax a little bit. But what I also tell people is you got to cut out the snacking. You got to cut out the snacking because that is the biggest problem, because it's all compounding. If you're sitting at your desk, you're not moving, and you're just sipping on sodas or eating chips or cookies all day, that's a recipe for disaster. Now you're just making things worse. So you have to cut out certain things. I'm not saying eliminate it totally, because if I said that, I would be a hypocrite, because I like it too. But you have to just learn how to just not eat so much, and moderation is very important. So if you're not training for the Olympics, you don't have to pretend like you are. I think you have to just get up. That's the most important thing. And when you're able to do a little more of a workout, then you do it. But until then, just get up and walk. I take my son out every day because he's in virtual school. Every day we go out, he rides either his bike or his scooter, and I'll ride my bike, and we just ride around. Nothing fancy, nothing hardcore. We just ride. And I can tell you that just does wonders for me too, because I sit a lot as well. And he loves it. He gets him outside, and it's just a great thing. So it's nothing, hardcore, anything, structured or disciplined. Just get up and move, and you'll be a whole lot better off.
I think that's, I'm just going to say one more thing, and then Maria, I'll stop talking. But what you just said is so authentic and important. And from my perspective, and here's why: there are 1,000 people out there trying to sell people on this program or that program or this machine or that machine. And this is the thing. This is the miracle. If you just open this bottle and drink this drink, or you get on this machine and do this thing 15 minutes a day, it'll be life altering. And maybe it is. Maybe some of those things actually have that impact. But what you just said is I think is the ultimate truth. It doesn't take a fancy gym. You don't have to spend several $1,000s on equipment. You just have to get up and move. You just have to make your body move, and body weight exercises and movement are the things that really give you the benefits that we're talking about here.
Let me say this. That's where the spiritual fitness comes in for me. Like I said, I'm a personal trainer. I understand how the fitness industry works. I understand people want you to buy this magic product, and they know deep down they may not even need all that. So for me personally, I want to just be honest with you and let you know your options, and let you know it's okay. You can just go out for a walk. It's okay. If you want to just do some push-ups, do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, do some planks, you do it right in your home. That's fine. Because I don't want to look back over my life and think, okay, I scammed these people out of their money when they really didn't need all this stuff. I'm going to tell you the truth. Let you decide. If you still want to buy the fancy equipment, it does work. But do you need it? That's the thing. That's the question you have to ask yourself. Do you really, really need it? If you want it, have at it. Have fun with it. But please use it. Don't just buy it and then let it sit use it for a week and then let it sit.
Yeah,
if you're going to buy it, use it.
Yeah, it gets towels hung on it. And,
exactly. Yeah.
It's a good financial fitness question too. Do you need it? And if the answer is yes, you spend the money. It all does tie back together at the end of the day.
It does. I tell you what, you don't have to go broke to be fit. Why do you have to go broke to be fit? Right. You don't. You don't.
I have 6 different brands of protein shakes in my cupboard right now. Do people say cupboard anymore? Is that I am showing my antiquated self right now.
That's baby boomer talk.
Her cupboard has tinfoil in it.
I lied about the millennial thing. I don't want to scam anyone. No, I didn't actually lie about that. But yeah, I have all this different types of home equipment I've purchased in the past, and all these different types of protein. It's one supposed to be better than the other for XYZ reason. And those may not have been the best financial fitness decisions, because now they're sitting in my cupboard.
I'll tell you guys, I'm more natural, holistic. Rob, you did kind of mention that, but I'm more of a natural type. In my ignorance, I used to think that people, hundreds of years ago, they didn't know what they were doing. They were making a mistake by, taking turmeric and cinnamon and all these natural things. But as I did my research, I found that this stuff really does work. On a side note, I'm a ghostwriter also. So I also ghostwrite for this doctor. And when I write for him, I have to have facts. I have to have scientific studies. So when I wrote for him, it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. And they have scientific backing that's saying this stuff really works. So when I hear about the protein shakes and all of that, now, don't get me wrong, there is some benefit to taking that. But if someone says you have to take this, that's not true. I've been lifting weights for over 30 years, and I haven't taken any protein shakes or anything, and I think I'm fine.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned the doctor, and no slight to the medical profession, but when it comes to this sort of thing, this is a little bit of a blind spot for them because in my experience, they are more in the business of the curing the symptomatic issues than they are in the sort of the holistic approach to, the ground up or the inside out, like we were talking about before. So, you need a doctor when you tear your Achilles, which I've done, and you need a doctor when you dislocate your shoulder or whatever, but they're not going to get down in the weeds with you and say, hey, are you doing core exercises? Are you doing body weight exercises? Now, I think that's starting to change, but it doesn't surprise me that when you do that ghostwriting and you have that experience, the doctor says, well, I didn't know about that, because they're pharmacological. They're not being taught that other sort of holistic stuff. And, there's a debate about which side is right all the time, but there's truth on both sides. And I think it's just an important point to note that the medical profession isn't the be all end all for advice when it comes to the sort of stuff we're talking about here.
I'm glad you said that, because it's very important to understand, if you're sick, go to the doctor. Don't try to be a hero. Please go to the doctor and get yourself checked out.
Turmeric might not cure you.
Right.
No. Please go to the doctor if you don't feel right. You know your body. If you wake up one morning and say, something isn't right in my side, or, I got some, like Maria, you want to go get the massage. When something's not right, go get checked out. The thing about the holistic is it's more of a preventative thing. Mm-hmm. You don't want to wait till you're sick to start taking better care of yourself. You want to start now. So if you do get sick, it may not be as bad. So you still may have to go to the doctor, but the severity of your symptoms or your actual illness may not be as bad if you did not take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. So if you take care of yourself, it may, you may alleviate some of the problems, and it may not be as bad. But if you just abuse your body over the years, then one day it's really going to hit you and it's going to hurt you. I'm going to say this real quick. Moderation is the key in whatever you do, especially with your food. You do not want to get to the point where the doctor says, if you eat one more chicken nugget, it's going to kill you. And you love chicken nuggets. So now you're to the point where you can't eat your favorite foods because you abused them for so long. And now you're going to be miserable. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you guys, but I like my chocolate. I like my chocolate shakes. I do. And so I still eat it in moderation. I don't want to get to the point where the doctor says I can't do these things anymore. So that's why I take the turmeric. That's why I drink apple cider vinegar and black seed oil, and I still are able to enjoy my junk, and my happy hour. I still enjoy it too, but you can't do it all the time. So that's where the natural comes in. You want to strengthen your body from the inside out, so you have that core foundation of good health. And so when you have to go to the doctor, then your body is fighting, it's tough, and maybe it could withstand whatever you're dealing with. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And this preventative care and actions that you can take is what helps you get to the point where you get your private jet and you don't need your air machines, your oxygen tanks, or anything like that. You can actually enjoy life, even when you're older. So just trying to piece all that together and realize that it does have such an impact on what you do today has such an impact on your life 30 years from now. Like we talk about financial fitness, and in our industry, it's get your clients prepared for retirement. What does your retirement look like? How much money are they going to have? Do they have the funds they need for life changes and sending their kids to college and medical expenses and all these things? So we're prepping, the financial advisors are prepping their clients for what 20, 30, 40 years down the road looks like. So we also need to be individually responsible to prep ourselves for our physical and mental and spiritual well-being 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road. right?
Yeah.
It's a plan, no matter how you look at it.
And I don't want to get too far because we don't have an unlimited amount of time here, but I don't want to get too far away from that point, Jeff, without coming back to, based on what Maria just said, coming back to something that I personally think is very important. But I also know that you have some very strong thoughts about this, which is you're doing the things that are building a stronger body inside and out. And we talked about that. We're armoring the body from the inside out. That's also being super beneficial to our mental well-being and our mental state. But I wanted to hit on this one other important point though, which is like one more step, I think, down the path, which is all of that inner strengthening, I think, has the most important effect on mindset. Doesn't it really, I feel like it sort of galvanizes your mindset. And as your body strengthens and your mentality strengthens, your mindset, which is like a muscle, also strengthens. And to me, that's the glue that really holds all this stuff together. Because you're going to have that morning. I mean, like I said, it's been a long time, but you train hard. You're going to have that morning where, it's going to be, even if you're in Florida, it's going to be either hot and rainy or cold or whatever. And you got an 18 miler you got to do today. And you just say, man, maybe I'll just roll over and go back to sleep. But you don't, because your mindset is strong because you've developed it. So can you just, in some of the time we have left, can you touch on that aspect of this and your thoughts there, please?
Yeah, the mental is the most important part. Wherever the mind goes, the body will follow. I can say that triathlon helped me strengthen my mind, and I apply it to life also because, first off, like I've done the full Ironman distance before. It took me a year to train for that. You don't wake up one day and do an Ironman. You just don't. It takes time. That self-discipline, you have to get up and do what you have to do to accomplish your goal. You can apply that same philosophy to life and your job and things you want to accomplish outside of sports. The problem is a lot of people, they see the long road ahead and they get discouraged and they quit ahead of time. They quit when it gets tough. They can't handle the adversity. They expect everything to be easy. Nothing in life is easy. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are. You're going to have trials and tribulations, and it's up to you to know, to be able to look in the mirror and say, you know what, I can do this. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care what no one says around me. I can do this. You don't believe in me? I don't care. I can do this. So once you get to that point, nothing can stop you. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter what the adversity is. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. You get back up and you keep trying. And that's another thing. Failure is not really failure. Failure is just another way for you to know what doesn't work so you can retool and reconfigure and find another way to do it. But a lot of people are like, oh, it didn't work. I quit. I just can't do it. No, let me tell you, if I felt that way, I wouldn't have 11 books. I wouldn't have done my first triathlon because in the beginning I got to tell this story. I'm sorry. I have to tell this. I thought I was a hot shot when I first started doing triathlons, and it was like a 3-mile run. So I'm cruising, thinking I'm doing good, feeling really good about myself. And this guy, he had to be about 65. And I can run. I used to be able to do 6-minute miles. And he passed me and he looked back and said, you look great. Keep it up. I'm like, and I wanted to grab him and catch him, but I couldn't. So, it's that mental toughness. You have to be strong mentally and know that you can do anything. You have to keep going, even if someone is doing better than you.
Yep.
Even if you're lagging behind, if you think everyone is passing you by and you're just standing still. But it's not about it. Yeah,
it's not a race against anybody else in the end, is it? That's the thing you learn. It's a race against yourself. And when you talk about doing a triathlon, like, I mean, it's so funny. I'm starting over, right? On running. I mean, I was doing 800-meter repeats yesterday and I was sweating it. Like, oh man, 4 800-meter repeats. I used to run 800 meters in about 1:57, right? Like way back. And now I'm sweating doing 4. But it's an incremental thing. You didn't, like you said, you didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm gonna go do an Ironman. You had to build that muscle. You had to go out and run 1 mile, then 2, then 3, then 4, then back to 2, then back to 4. It's like, it's a mountain chart like we're used to in our business. It doesn't go straight up. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have injury, what have you. But it's that testing. It's that trial and error and that testing that builds that mental fortitude, that when you're in the pain cave when you're at the end of an Ironman and you're halfway on the back end of that marathon segment and you just want to die, and that voice in your head is saying, just quit. It's fine. You did enough, and cause that voice is always in there like, ooh, that really hurts. Maybe we should stop running. You know what I mean? You'll have built the mental fortitude and the toughness and the discipline to shut that voice down and keep going. That doesn't happen overnight. That's important, right? I mean, for people who are not deep endurance athletes like you are, there's a much more normal kind of range of living, and that mental toughness and that mental discipline it's a muscle like anything else. You have to work it and you have to develop it. It doesn't mean that you're going to go run an Ironman necessarily. Like you said, you don't have to, but it's so important to work that discipline in the range that's practical for your life, I think. And it doesn't happen overnight. And you're going to have failure. You're going to have setback. You're going to counsel yourself. You're going to need friends to rely on, and you bounce back and you try and build that resiliency and you go again. Right.
So as we wrap up the show today, I just want to share the best advice I've ever been given in my life. And I think back to this all the time, and it's 4 words: time will pass anyway. So whether you're like Jeff and you're ready to write a book, he got up and he wrote 11 books, and he's competed in the triathlons and the half Ironmans and all of this, right? So these are great examples. If you want to do something like that, if you want to write the next book, or if you want to compete in a triathlon, whatever it is that you love and you want to do or you're interested in doing, you can start it today, no matter your age, whether you're millennial, baby boomer, whatever, analog, whatever, digital. Because regardless of whether you pick up the pen and start writing or not, time will pass anyway.
Yeah.
Will you be where you want to be 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? If you have a 5-year plan, it's going to take you that long to get there. That's okay. Because guess what? Time will pass anyway. So if you make the choice and you exercise your mental fitness, make the choice, make the decision, be disciplined, you can get to your end goal. And at the end of your life, look back and realize that you're very happy with the decisions that you made mentally, physically, spiritually, and all the above that we got to talk about today. So with that, I'm going to close the show, and I'm going to say, I so appreciate Jeff being on the show today and sharing all his wisdom and his knowledge and his great character. We so appreciate that. And Rob, being part of this process and just being the guiding light that you are for the show. We appreciate that. And on that, I'm going to go stretch, and I'm going to go for a jog.
I'm going to go stand up and move. I'm going to go outside and walk around
do something, and I'm not going to eat a snack. And on that, we'll see you next time, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. Appreciate
Thanks, guys. That was great.
Thanks, Maria.